Morena kia koutou. Morena kia koutou. Thank you so much for those who have made it here this morning after last night's awards and showing the love to our amazing presenters that are coming up first thing for this morning. Welcome back to day 2 of the Connections Conference for 2025. But before our first session begins this morning, we will hear from some of our New Zealand Sport and Recreation Award finalists from last night. Let's take a look at the incredible finalists. Brilliant to see all those amazing people and projects across the Motu helping Aotearoa to be active. Now the finalists from the Community Impact and the Leadership in Diversity and Inclusion Awards will share their mahi and how their amazing initiatives are helping to create a brighter future for all New Zealanders through physical activity. Can I please ask Karen Laurie and Junior Armstrong from Sport New Zealand to come to the stage to introduce this morning's session. Kia ora kōrua.
Morena te whānau, ko Junior Armstrong taku ingoa no Te Mātua Māui ahau, aka Hawke's Bay, aka Paradise Capital of Aotearoa, New Zealand. My name is Junior, I'm a father of 3, husband of 1, and a millennial. We seem to be a little bit light this morning, maybe some of our baby boomers didn't get through last night appropriately. Paul here, and are you here this morning? Yep, Paul's here. All our baby boomers are here, whānau. It's my pleasure to introduce this part of the program. As Jenny May mentioned, it's about celebrating the amazing mahi of some of our community champions that exist across Aotearoa, New Zealand. We'll be hearing from last night's finalists, specifically from the Leadership in Diversity and Inclusion and Community Impact. In terms of flow of the session, we'll have 7 minutes for each speaker. I noticed last night that Dave mentioned he doesn't have much words to say. Hopefully that was last night's case, and hopefully he's got some words to say this morning within the 7-minute allocation. We'll have 7 minutes each, and there'll be a chance for Q&A after the sector story session. Our champions will be floating around in the foyer if you want to ask more questions or get to know them a bit more around some of the stuff that's happening, as well as opportunity to scale to your region as well. So let's get into it. First up is the Adaptive Whakauru Tahi Trust. Based in the #1 location in New Zealand, Hawke's Bay, the Trust seeks to break down barriers to participation by creating inclusive opportunities for tamariki and the rangatahi with disabilities. The kaupapa is grounded in equity, empowerment and community design. Please welcome Liana to the stage.
Kia ora koutou. My name's Liana Becker, the founder of Adaptive Whakauru Tahi Charitable Trust. I think we're going to start off with the clicker. Clicker's not working. I'll just tell you anyway. Adaptive Whakaurutahi is a charitable trust that provides adaptive movement opportunities for people who have disabilities, both visible and invisible. The video you're about to see is just one of our community classes that we provide. Yes, so we are based in Hawke's Bay. We started with 6 participants in October 2022 for a pilot program. And by the end of that pilot program, I'm not sure where they came from, but we ended with about 17 in that 10-week program. We now have, well, it says almost, but I counted the other day, we have 200 participants through the doors every single week. And we connect with 20 plus organisations locally, which include Kura. Our coaches are carefully selected for their specialist skills and strengths, and are allocated classes that are of interest to them so that we get the best out of every session. Our beginning starts with the little girl Ada Bang. You can see her up there. So prior to this, I owned a functional training facility and did kids classes. Ada Bang came in and her mum wanted her to be able to participate alongside people without disability and children, just like every other child gets the opportunity to. She hadn't had that yet. There is a quote there, today was a parenting highlight. My girl competed in her first ever CrossFit competition with the support of her amazing partner Emery and coach Liana. Today was really emotional for Regan and I. About 2 years ago, we worried about moving here that Ada might not adjust to the change. But 2 years ago, Ada wouldn't have stepped foot into a gym to do a comp like this. She wouldn't have had the strength or stamina, and she would have found it too loud and overwhelming. Today, she knocked it out of the park and completed every workout. She got a spot prize at the end and beamed all the way home that she had won. And that is where Adaptive has stemmed from. And it was conversations with Jodie and Regan, Ada's parents, of, well, what do you need? What do you want? And that is how Adaptive has formed and grown. We did start with just the one functional class, but we realised that wasn't actually all inclusive, and we now have 9 community classes on offer. We do sensory dance, adaptive fit, which is our functional, adaptive art, blind low vision, aqua, tai chi, our seated session, which you saw in the video, and our kaumatua and kids, which is our in-school program. We did come from very humble beginnings, as I said, and yeah, our adaptive sit classes are ACC accredited now as well. The benefits that we see from our program is improved strength, balance, coordination, proprioception, and most importantly, intrinsic motivation. Increased independence, a little bit too much sometimes. We worked with a guy who was fully blind, intellectual age of a 4-year-old, huge, gentle giant, moved in with elderly caregivers. He couldn't put his arm up to put deodorant on. We worked with him twice a week for a year, and he became so independent that they found him out in the yard a few times, and he'd gone up and down the stairs himself. He went to the toilet by himself. So increased independence is a really important one for us to increase their quality of life and their support and whānau around them. Increased visibility in our community, so bridging the gap between disabled and non-disabled communities, increased social engagement, building relationships, friendships and connections within our community. We're a koha-based scheme, so they pay what they can afford and we rely on our wonderful funders. Just a bit about our leadership style. For me, I identified that I lead through a wayfinding method that allows for autonomy, transformation and growth within our team and with our participants as well. I'm just kind of scooching through this because I've got 2 minutes left. So we were finalists last year as well for leadership in diversity and inclusion category and finalists again. We were very proud to be back here for a second year in a row. I was also a finalist last year at the Robert Walters New Zealand Leadership Awards. I was interviewed by Ming Foon, Alison Moe and Dame Judy McGregor. Somehow made it to top 3. And a finalist obviously this year as well. So where to next? This is what I wanted to get to in a room full of very important people. So we're ready to expand our kaupapa across New Zealand. We have trainers and facilities lined up in South Auckland, Tauranga and Wellington. What I would do or like to do is a pilot program like I ran in Hawke's Bay to solidify the need and grow it from there. However, we're trying to navigate the barrier of accessible funding. So Adaptive has proven itself in Hawke's Bay and this year secured a large amount of funding. We had $200,000 this year, which has meant we've been able to get our own facility and a van, which we needed, on top of our usual outgoings. We've secured $150,000 for next year as well, which means our program can run without being held back. The problem is, as soon as I mention plans to expand outside of Hawke's Bay, we experience the barrier of funding with regional boundaries, and our localised funding would become pretty much non-existent. So our kaupapa is proven, it enhances quality of life for some of the most vulnerable people within our community. We alleviate some of the burden from our healthcare system, we're ACC accredited, we engage over 20 organisations locally. Our class delivery increased by 45% last year with 960 sessions delivered in 2024, showcasing the huge demand for our service. Our client base has grown significantly, mostly through word of mouth, so sitting around the 200 participants every single week, aged 5 to 90 years old, and this has all been achieved in just shy of 3 years. Our board is highly qualified with diverse strengths and lived experience, carefully selected to ensure that Adaptive moves forward both professionally and with purpose. So I mean, imagine what we could do nationally if we had the backing to expand outside of Hawke's Bay. So if you do have a pen and paper with you or your smartphone, please take down my email address, which is admin@adaptive.org.nz. And you can find us on social media as well under Adaptive Whakaurutahi Charitable Trust. Thank you.
Thanks, Liana. Just to reiterate, Liana and the team will be hanging around after the session. If you'd like to grab a coffee, my shout, and speak to the team about potential expansion into areas. Just on behalf of our Hawke's Bay community, Liana, just want to thank you and the team. We do see you and we do appreciate the work that you do for the disabled community. Moving on to our next presenter. This person needs no introduction. He had a few words last night that might continue this morning, but the impact that he's making across not just South Auckland, but other communities is exceptional and outstanding. And it's my pleasure to welcome to the stage Dave Latali from BBM.
Thanks, brother. I'll put my timer on. 7 minutes. All right, we're going to do a 7-minute workout. Get up, team. Stand up, stand up, stand up. I know we're all a little bit hungover and I can see the faces. All right. Okay, let's just swing our arms around forward. Make sure we're not going to hit anyone. All right. 3, 4, 5, and backwards. Big circles if you can. If you don't have shoulder injuries, go to your movement. 3, 4, 5. Okay, we're going to put our guard up. It's going to be a little bit of boxing, okay? Just to lift the energy up for the next speaker. All good? All right, guard up. Okay, we're going to just do our straight left is our 1. Our straight right is our 2. Get it? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We're going to punch from our chin. I always say it's funny because Manu now works for us. If you want to know why you punch from your chin, go YouTube my last fight against Manu and you'll soon realise why you punch from your chin. Okay, let's go here, let's go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's go. Put some music on, DJ, if you got it. Okay, cruise, let's go, cruise. Okay, there's one call I'm going to say. When I yell Anna, you yell he, okay? On the third Anna, it'll be hee-ha. All good? Anna! We're going to keep going. It's got to be louder. Come on. Anna! Anna! Anna. Oh, no, it's going to be louder. Okay, let's go. High five. Let's go. Let's go. We'll run around the sprints. 5, 4, 3, 2, up top. Let's go. Just cruise, just cruise. Later on, I'm going to put some techno music to this. It's going to look amazing. All right. Hard and fast. Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold them up straight up high in the sky. Okay, we've got to count down nice and loud from 10. If it's not loud, we will start again. All good? 10, 9, louder. 'Anna! 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 Nice. High five to your neighbour. Well done, team. Well done. High five to your neighbour. Say, well done. We all just started. We had a good workout in the morning. Cut the music. Look, it's great to be here, and it was a real honour to receive the award last night. I actually had no idea. I was looking for hints from Junior. I would have brought more people if I'd known, but thank you, and it's awesome to be amongst such great nominations as well, and to see the work that's going on. You know, I always just, with the sister that was just up here, Liana, talking about her mahi, and when I see the other mahi going on around the community, around the country, I always think to myself, what if we could no longer continue? Think about that. Like the hustle that it's involved with trying to fund these things, you know, especially when you're like me and you tend to piss off all governments. Got a special skill at that. But what if we all just could not continue? You know, we run by volunteers on an oily rag when the sister's talking about 200 grand, 150 grand. It's a lot of money. But when you think about how much it costs to run these things, and the impact is just enormous, that's chump change. That is just not enough. But it's amazing how we can make that money spread out and have such a huge impact running on an oily rag. Just imagine the impact that could be had if we were funded properly. You know, just imagine that. You know, and we're very blessed that we have Foundation North, and we have DIA, and we have Tyndall Foundation that have seen our work. I remember, you know, a lot of the times when I first met Audrey and I met Stephen Tyndall and Rob, they always just worried about me. They go, we've got to put some infrastructure around you so that you don't die. You cannot continue this way. Your work's too important. We've got to make sure that we have some people around you. Let's fund those people around you so that you can scale. So really, I'm blessed. Thank you so much, Audrey. And I was sharing with Liana, that's the secret to trying to scale. I remember when we tried to scale this, people would say to me, like the government I'm talking about, would say to me, Dave, you can never scale this because there's only one you. It's so dependent on you. So that day, I stopped taking all boot camps. I no longer took any boot camps, and our successes continued to grow. Because it's not the exercise, it's the culture, it's the environment that we've created that can be taught as you go to scale. So that's what we're doing as we're scaling into Purirua and also up in Whangarei. So I will talk about these slides. So we started our BBM from the Couch program, which is what we're scaling. So we're scaled out of Auckland. We started in Whangarei a couple of weeks ago. That was amazing. We're working alongside Mahi Tahi Hauora. So it's about wrapping around the clinical support, the system, around the people. Because as we all know, and most of us here should know, our people don't go to the doctors. Our people don't have GPs. We present to the hospital when it's almost too late, costing millions and millions and millions of dollars. You know, the system is all they worry about is investing in police cars and ambulances right at the bottom of the cliff. Have we ever thought about investing in a fence before the edge of the cliff? So that's what organisations like this and like us are doing around the country. Fence before the cliff. So we started off on the Couch, we're moving to Purirua, I think in a couple of weeks. And the important thing is what we've done, and we'd be happy to run these programs with you too, sis, your programs in our bases in Auckland, around the country, is we're teaming up with other community groups already doing the mahi. So we're not coming in trying to take over, we're coming in and providing, and it's funny if you think about a franchise model. People would say to me years ago, how can you franchise this? How can you start to leverage this brand to make money? And it's such a crazy thing. Our model that we use is very, very stressful model. You know, so we have all these things and no paying customers, so it's very stressful. And I told my friend on my way back from Whangarei, we're opening up, and we're going to go down to put it in. He goes, "Oh, how much are you charging people?" I said, "No, we're paying them." That's the way that we've done it. So we also have our prison program. And the prison program, when we went in to see these youth, it would break your heart. We got invited there by corrections. And I'll tell you what, it's a lot different, brother, when you're invited to prison. When you're invited there, it's a lot different. But I went there and they took me to the youth. 100% Māori population. 100. And we're sitting there with Manu and our team, and these eyes looking back at me, and it just broke me. We're doing the mahi there. And these, when you start understanding where they're from, their environments they've been raised in, the families they come from, you get it, you understand. My dad talks about chances, and people would often say, "Dave, how many chances are you going to give these people?" Well, how about their first one? Have you thought about that? How about their first chance? So that's what we do. And when we went into prison, right then I realized we're starting here at the bottom of the cliff. We actually need to get in sooner. So that's when we started our school tour. With me and Manu, I went out and raised some money through Trust Motors, who are a big supporter of ours, and also Annette Presley Foundation. And we just went on this massive tour. We're still going now. We'll start again next week after the holidays. But it's the kids that we're seeing in these schools. Again, it just breaks me because there's so much trauma going on. And you think that these kids, some of them have lived 5 lives already, 13, 14 years old. And I understand, and I'll finish on this, I understand the power of sports, the power of moving. And it's about connection. It's not about whether it's rugby or netball or whatever it is. It's about belonging to something. We all want to belong to something. So let's make sure what these kids have to belong to is something positive that can set them along the right path and be there to support them all the way up. Because it is possible to change, but this fine print is with the right support. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Dave. Thank you. It's obvious to see the passion that you have for the space and not just transforming people's lives, but saving their lives. So on behalf of the sector, we thank you for the mahi that you do and the mahi you'll continue to do across other communities in Aotearoa. To complete the leadership and inclusion and diversity category is Paralympics New Zealand. Paralympics NZ continues to lead the way in promoting inclusion and visibility for disabled athletes. Their commitment to advocacy, education and representation is helping to reshape the sporting landscape. Please welcome Jennifer to the stage.
Morena everyone, Jennifer Hunt, Paralympics New Zealand. We'll give you something to talk about our incredible campaign that we launched just before Paris 2024 last year. Our challenge was to set about changing perceptions of disability, encouraging conversations and portraying our Paralympians as the incredible high-performance elite athletes that they are. But we wanted to go beyond a traditional campaign focusing on broadcast viewership and promotion and traditional stories of elite athletes and inspiration. We wanted a social change campaign, and we challenged ourselves to effectively be bold and provocative and see what changes we could make. We had a premise that we worked with Saatchi's on, which was to develop new ideas and to really challenge the concept of what Paralympians have to experience. They deal with stares and whispers every day. They confront attitudes and prejudice, how could we work with them to turn that around and change the way that people view what they do. So after much deliberation and development of concepts and things with Saatchi's, we came up with We'll Give You Something to Talk About. And it was an extraordinary process. Saatchi's actually developed up to 6 different creative ideas for us. Consultation was key. We had some ideas which really were quite confronting. We had to work through those with the Athletes Council, Paralympians, alumni, our board, our staff, and some key partners, commercial partners, to find the idea that actually was going to resonate, that people felt comfortable with, and I guess really that our athletes were proud of and were happy to participate in. So that was an enormous challenge, and I think all credit to them. It took a lot of courage for the athletes who actually participated in the campaign to actually bare their hearts and souls and share their experiences. We couldn't have done it really without some extraordinary media partnerships. We knew that we wanted to achieve mass reach, and we had TVNZ as our broadcast partner, and we approached them to see whether they would consider a real collaboration from a marketing perspective, whether they would take elements from the campaign and integrate them into our campaign and their broadcast coverage. So they agreed. They provided a really fantastic airtime campaign for us for effectively 15 and 30-second commercials featuring 3 athletes, and a whole lot of long-form interview content that we developed, which they integrated into their actual editorial coverage of the Games. So they came on board as an extremely willing and effective partner for us, as did NZME with radio, print and digital, and Lumo Outdoors. So we were really fortunate with those relationships that we could just get that message out far and wide. So what I'm going to do now is just play you a video which is a recap of the campaign, which features Anna Grimaldi, Cameron Leslie and Devon Briggs, our 3 hero athletes, and just talks about some of the ideas and the integration that we achieved.
I faced countless amounts of prejudice, bullying.
She's really good at that for someone with one hand.
Special needs, retarded.
Geez, he shouldn't be swimming out in public, he should be in an institution.
He doesn't look like a swimmer.
He shouldn't be training.
He shouldn't be in the public lanes.
Get out of the fast lanes. He's not a real man.
Imagine if he was a normal. He is pretty fast considering. He should be a disabled lane. It's a shame he doesn't have limbs.
We'll give you something to talk about. Use prejudiced comments to provoke conversation and get people thinking about their own attitudes to Paralympians, and maybe even win their support. We took this conversation everywhere we could.
Oh, but the real games are going to start first, the Olympics.
And they talk to her as if she's your carer.
I don't have a brain, did you not know that?
Yeah.
Including getting TVNZ to integrate it into their broadcast of the Games.
To give Kiwis something to talk about.
We even gave cynics a chance to share their views.
If you take issue with the broadcasting of the Paralympic Games, you have 20 working days to make a complaint by writing.
Our unapologetic campaign helped gain the biggest Paralympic Games audience in New Zealand ever, almost as big as the Olympics themselves. And by doing so, increased the nation's love for our team to an all-time high, which had the main political parties complimenting the campaign in Parliament.
As their team slogan so aptly put it, we'll give you something to talk about, and they definitely did.
In a year where we won fewer medals than we hoped, we achieved greater success than we dared dream of.
It has captured the hearts and minds of the public like never before.
And so one of the really the great aspects of this campaign was that we were able to evolve it. We used the tagline, "We'll give you something to talk about," leading up to the Paris Games. And then while the Games were on themselves, we moved to "Talk about this," which wasn't just about podium performances, but it was about shows of sportsmanship, Paralympic debuts, personal bests, just having the opportunity to celebrate some of those moments in our digital content. And then after the Games, we went to Worth Talking About. So the team are worth talking about around a water cooler conversation at work, or they're worth personal sponsor endorsements, or they're worth equal investment as our able-bodied teams. So the campaign really had some life, I think, and we're continuing to build on that as we work to Milano Cortina. Almost there. We have a video now, we should have a video now, of Anna Grimaldi, just to close, who spoke recently at a breakfast that we had when Andrew Parsons, the president of the International Paralympic Committee, was over in Auckland visiting. And she spoke about the impact it had on her being part of this campaign and how she felt about it. Here's Anna.
I really struggled with the question of what do you want to be when you get older. I never knew what I wanted to do, but half the class put they wanted to be an All Black or a cricket player or whatever, and I really struggled because I loved sport. I loved netball, I loved basketball. It just seemed like such a far-fetched dream. There wasn't any people that looked like me in the media and let alone in sports media. It made having that dream really scary and a bit unsafe, and to put it out there into the world felt really scary, and I really hope that by having this campaign, talking about our experiences, but also like getting people interested in, you know, being a bit confronting, because I think that's we've got to do something to put it in people's faces, to get it out there, to talk about it in sport, but also not in sport. Just this is a gateway into other areas of hopefully all life.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer. Just before I quickly hand over to Karen for the next three finalists, just want to thank Paralympics New Zealand for the effort in changing the conversation and challenging the traditional mindsets that exist out there, and the work that you're doing to break those barriers for a quarter of our population to do their best and be their best. Just on behalf of the sector, thank you Paralympics NZ. We look forward to your campaign into the future. So in saying that, I'd like to pass it over to my colleague Karen to introduce the next three finalists. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks, Junes, and kia ora everybody. It's lovely to see everyone. Ko Karen Laurie tau koingoa. And while Junes might say that he does come from the Piece of Paradise, I can probably run a pretty good argument against that, coming from Tito Tokerau up in the far north. So, yay Northland, if anyone's here in the room. Hopefully they are. This is a really incredible part of the whole conference. And thanks to Dave, Liana and Jennifer for those wonderful presentations, because this part of the whole conference really does bring to life the theory and the practice. This is what's happening on the ground. These people that are coming up to share their stories are doing some amazing mahi, and they represent, I know, a whole, huge amount of mahi that's going on out there, but the chance to hear from those people directly is really incredible. And so I'd like you to help me in welcoming Kat Jones, who, just by the way, was also our Susie Simcock future leader last night, so great that she's here to represent and tell us the story of Game Plan, which is actually an amazing piece of work being led by Active around really enabling those young people who are living in financial hardship to access sport, because we know sport, as we've already seen from these amazing three stories, breaks down barriers and can really, really change lives for young people. So welcome to the stage, Kat. Tell us about Game Plan.
Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Catherine Jones, tōka wingoa, Kate Active Schools Manager, Key Active e mahi ana. It's my absolute pleasure to be speaking to you this morning about Game Plan AKL. At Active, we have a bold vision of Tāmaki Makaurau being the world's most active city. We're a team of 25 who are focused on equity and supporting tamariki and rangatahi to participate in sport and recreation, particularly where there are additional barriers or historic inequities exist. A couple of years ago, the team at Active were seeing and hearing more and more stories of young people having to sacrifice participation in sport and recreation due to the cost of living crisis. and tricky decisions families were having to make about putting food on the table and keeping the lights on at home. We don't think that's fair, and we believe that we could do something about it. So we jumped into action, we formed a small project team, did some hard mahi, and Game Plan AKL was born in late 2023. So you might ask, what is Game Plan AKL? Game Plan AKL is a philanthropic fund. Each year we aspire to work with 100 rangatahi from identified schools with opportunities to participate in sport and recreation. These rangatahi who are at risk of missing out receive a 5-year opportunity for them to participate in sport and recreation activities of their choice. Each year these rangatahi receive up to $500 to support their participation to cover things like fees, uniforms, equipment and transportation, irrespective of their sport and recreation skill level or aspiration. Every dollar gifted from our generous donors goes to the kids, and Active covers all operational costs. We're now in year 2 with 200 kids receiving support, and we're all having an absolute ball of a time. Recognising the immense need across communities and our focus on being mana enhancing throughout the process, and we also didn't want to be bureaucratic in any way, we deliberately decided against a public application process. And instead, we decided to invite a select group of rangatahi from identified schools in kura with the opportunity to be supported. To do this, we've worked with Auckland's primary and intermediate school principals of schools with the highest EQIs, so that's the new decile system for anyone wondering, to identify rangatahi when they are in year 8. We've chosen this approach because we believe these principals and their staff know the families the best and are able to support us in understanding which rangatahi meet the criteria and which families would benefit most from the opportunity. We track these young people through to secondary school and they can begin making requests from year 9. To date, rangatahi and their whānau have been supported in a wide variety of ways. For example, we've supported young people to participate in school teams and join local clubs for the very first time, experience new activities like martial arts and boxing, and have supported families with the cost of petrol vouchers to ensure they're getting their kids to training and games. We've supported rangatahi with participation in kapahaka competitions and at Polyfest, covered the cost of contact lenses to support rangatahi feeling more confident in participating in things like volleyball and basketball, and we've provided at-home fitness equipment for those rangatahi who are on fitness journeys. We're currently 2 years in with 200 kids, and to be fair, the impact and benefit seen so far has simply been superb. We've been blown away hearing about the new opportunities, improved physical and social well-being, the greater family connection, improved confidence and self-esteem, and a wide range of other benefits that we all know come from participating in sport and recreation. But who better to hear from than people who are experiencing and benefiting from support? Please enjoy the short video from some of the rangatahi and their whānau.
It's something that she's wanted to do, but we weren't ever able to give her that option.
Game Plan AKL has helped me by trying new things,
for paying my fees, join a club, get new gear,
trying new activities and tag and learning new skills from it. Spent less time on my devices.
It's had a big impact on my fitness and my health. It's also helped me mentally and socially. When I play football, it makes me feel better.
Enjoyed making new friends.
Makes him happier to play sports and just brings out a different side of him. He seems a lot more confident.
If it wasn't for Game Plan, I wouldn't even be playing league, or even playing rugby, or even just playing sports in general.
I like being able to have fun, and it keeps me fit.
Game Plan is being a supporting system for us.
Saying he's not taken this for granted.
His confidence is going up.
I love it because I challenge myself, make new friends and have fun.
it's given him just to widen his horizon on what sports are out there. So.
2018, Christiana's 4-year-old baby sister tragically died in an accident, and she was the only person who witnessed that. So since then, she's struggled a lot with going into school, with anxiety, just with a lot, and so sports was her safe place throughout that.
I love playing sports because it makes me happy and I get to meet new friends.
What I saw was that she started to mix more. She started to talk with others more. She saw this younger girl, probably 10 years of age, and she took her under her wing and was helping her along.
My mum would have been working harder for me, for my sport, so I would have felt bad.
With game plan, it's like you're pushing us forward. Go ahead, we have your back.
You help more than you ever know.
It's going to put a seed in her life, knowing that there was a time when people helped her get to where she would like to be.
Thank you so much.
We can't thank you guys enough, really.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful. Thanks. Big thank you, and I'm so grateful that I had an opportunity for doing the sports I love.
Ngā mihi.
Thank them very, very much, because I wouldn't have been here without them.
To enable all of this work, we are enormously appreciative of our group of generous Game Plan AKL donors, some of who are in the room today, for their belief in the kaupapa and their trust in Active to ensure rangatahi are able to be active. In just 2 years, we have raised $750,000 and we're well on our way to closing in on the $1 million. So, where to from here? We're currently focusing on securing the next $250,000 to support the next group of 100 rangatahi to receive support from January 2026. We continue to support our current group of families and young people, supporting their goals and aspirations. From there, we'll continue to scale Game Plan AKL, providing support to Auckland's rangatahi at risk of missing out. If you'd like to know more about Game Plan AKL, please come and say hi, and please come and chat with one of the Active team here at the conference today. Ngā mihi nui. Thank you.
Thanks, Kat, and thanks, Active. And when we think about the theme of the conference, connections, and thinking about our younger generation and the broader value and holistic value that comes out of sport and physical activity, I think those young people just kind of summed it up beautifully for us. Our next finalist is Flo Bubb with the Gisborne Board Riders. And Gisborne Board Riders have been doing some amazing mahi in another wonderful part of the world, I must say. Sharing the Stoke. Not quite sure that Gen X's get away with saying that really cool, but anyway, I'll give it a try. And it's about really connecting kids and communities. So it's awesome to have Flo sharing his story here. So thanks very much.
Kia ora. Yeah, my name is Flo. I've got the honor to manage and kind of develop the Gisborne Board Riders Club the last few years. I'm the last man standing today. We celebrated like we won yesterday. And it was tough to getting up here, but I'm doing it for the whānau up the coast and the kaupapa, because it's really important to share and it's a real life story. Yeah, for us at Gisborne Board Riders, it's all about sharing the Stoke, a feeling of connectedness, excitement, happiness, and we want to share that feeling with as many communities as we can, and especially the ones who don't have access. Traditionally coming from more the performance side, we are now running heaps of inclusive initiatives and community surf events. We engaged with, from Gisborne up the coast, 200 Ks up the coast and 50 Ks down the coast. We engaged with the community over about 3 years and learned through Marae experiences and making surfing accessible, what the community wants and kind of needs, and how we can give them a little bit more than rugby and netball. We love those sports, but yeah, we want to share them, moana with them, bring them together and connect them to the land and sea. That was the whole idea. So I want to play a little video, just a minute long of the 3-minute video, and you get an idea of what we did over 3 years, and then I take you on the journey after that. That's up in Hicks Bay, Wharekaika, all the way up on the East Cape. Oh. Yeah, so we connected with all those communities and we shared one big why, and that is the tamariki and the moana. And we wanted to create more opportunities. The problem we had when we met in Tipuya Springs in a pub and brought all the communities together, 83% would like to do more surfing weekly or daily, and the problem was they had no equipment or no one to teach them. So we came up with a concept. We kind of pioneered at Midway and put containers up along, that's the whole stretch from Mahia up to Hicks Bay, 300 kilometers, with containers, wetsuits and boards. And the last 3 years we have been upskilling the local champions up there to run their own surfing programs to make it more sustainable. And we managed to bring that to the kuras as well, and now we have people surfing there on a weekly basis, and they have another sport. Now my time is up now, and Shai was meant to be here. Shai works for Fitiora. She's a local champion, she's a legend, but I'm gonna try and cover her part as well. So she said how important it was that we came in with the right approach. So we listened to the people, we asked questions, we engaged with the community, we went through the right protocols and engaged with everyone in the right way. And for her, it was so important seeing barriers eliminated. We did it in kind of, we honored the Maori way of doing things. Like, I'm not the right representative, that's why I have a lot of helpers on my side, and we integrated it into the schools. It's inclusive, it's about play and connecting the whole community. Now, what we learned is not only connecting like mom and dad or daughter and kind of her mom, but it's about connecting the whole coast. A lot of people think, oh, it's the East Coast, everyone knows each other, they know each other, but not everyone is connected. So those events and initiatives are about bringing people together. Here we have 3 generations surfing after Cyclone Gabriel. So the East Coast was cut off for weeks, and they were able on the day after to open the container in beautiful Onipoto Bay and share the stoke with each other and get a bit of relief from the hard times. Now, the future, we thought it's all about making surfing accessible, but the kids wanted competitions, so we brought competitions up there. We are now running the Ngāti Poro East Coast Champs with big support from Fitiora as well, from the Regional Sports Trust. And the kids love it. 11 out of 15 kura are participating in a fun tech team event, and the future is bright. We're talking about bringing the Māori nationals maybe up to Hicks Bay one day, or taking the kids there. And last but not least, we have a minute left, and we couldn't have done it without collaborating with a lot of people from all the funders, like Sport New Zealand to Manawa Fund, but also our regional trust, Tairāwhiti, Surf Lifesaving. We bring surf rescue courses up there to make the program more sustainable. And you always need a team to be successful. That's our beautiful friend, Shai. And we couldn't have done it with all the Coast whānau, the local champions, and all the funders, supporters, and sponsors, including some of the people who are in the room today. So I want to thank you all for coming and congratulate the finalists and winners again. Thank you.
Thanks, Flo. You certainly did really well for your team, and they obviously owe you quite a few coffees. We will have time for partai and questions afterwards, if there's a bit of time left, but as James had already mentioned, our finalists will be around for quite a bit of time afterwards, so please seek them out, and please actually go and have a chat to them and learn a little bit more about their mahi. Our last finalist to present today, and also the award winner, is Sandy from the Hoa Motuhake Trust. Sandy, I've known for quite some time, is a very special lady and has been doing some incredible work in making sure that all young people have access to sport and all young people are not disadvantaged by circumstances they may find themselves in. So their amazing program with mentors and connecting people, particularly working with children in care of Oranga Tamariki, is something that I think you'll really enjoy hearing about. So welcome, Sandy.
Tēnā koutou katoa. I'm Sandy, founder and team mum of the Hoa Motuhake Sports Trust. Thank you to Karen Jr. and Sport New Zealand for inviting me to share our mahi today. Hoa Motuhake has been honoured to deliver the Te Pū Atawhari Sports Mentoring Program to support tamariki and care. The program was designed and launched in 2020 in partnership with Sport Canterbury, Oranga Tamariki and Voice, with 3 objectives. The first is to remove key barriers to participation, because we know our tamariki and care face multiple barriers to playing sport. The second is to build confidence, well-being and belonging, because we know exposure to trauma and adversity can lead to long-term behavioural issues and a negative impact on well-being. Now, Summer was 8 years old when she joined our program 3 years ago. She was living with her mother and 2 siblings in a single unit motel unit, and her father had been in prison most of her life. She'd been exposed to multiple adverse events, including drug and alcohol abuse and domestic violence. Now, our third objective is to reduce youth offending and disrupt the care to custody pathway, because currently over 33% of our tamariki and care will go on to serve a prison sentence later in life. Now, our 5-year program is delivered in 2 stages. In the first year, each child is matched with a volunteer sports mentor who spends 2 hours each week with their mentee, alternating between an individual and a group sports session facilitated by local sports clubs. Whenever a child expresses an interest to play a sport, we will then organise an appropriate club, team or class and enrol that child in their sport. Their mentor will then start taking them to their community sport each week. At the end of the first year, each child then transitions into our 4-year scholarship program. Hoa Motuhake provides ongoing support to each child and their whānau to ensure that they can stay participating in community sport for the next 4 years. Since the launch of the project, 90 young people have been supported by over 75 volunteer sports mentors, and we've introduced our tamariki to over 30 different community sports. 97% of all our tamariki in the first year are fully engaged in their chosen community sport by the end of that first year, and we've achieved an 87% attendance rate across the entire program. And to date, no participant has engaged in youth offending or entered youth justice. Last year, Impact Lab highlighted the many positive outcomes of the program. But just last week, I wanted to mention I caught up with Aaron, whose grandson Braxton started in the program this year. He mentioned that Braxton is loving playing football and he really enjoys catching up with his mentor Tom. He said his confidence has grown from a 2 out of 10 to an 8, and recently Braxton signed up to play basketball at school, which he would have never done prior to starting the program. He also mentioned that he started taking Braxton to the park on Sunday afternoon so he can help him practice his footy skills. Now, I believe that there are 4 key elements that have made this program so successful. The first is that sport and mentorship is such a powerful combination. The physical, social and mental benefits of sport are so much greater for a young person who's experienced trauma and adversity. Our ambassador, Oscar shares what sport meant for him growing up in adversity.
Through whatever's happened in my life, that I've always found a freedom in sport, and sport was a place where you weren't judged on in any way where you came from, what you'd done, what you hadn't done. It was about the moment. Sport gave me a purpose.
Our amazing team of sports mentors are really the heart of the program because they remove the multiple barriers that our tamariki face. Last year, when Summer's home life deteriorated and her mentor Jane was no longer able to communicate with her mother, she started writing the day and time of Summer's sports sessions on a post-it note so Summer could put it on the fridge. Our mentors also provide a vital protective factor for our people, for our vulnerable young people, as they are consistent eyes on a vulnerable young person. They're the first to see when situations deteriorate. Last year, Summer was removed from her mother's care, and the social worker asked Summer where she felt safe and happy. She responded, "When I'm with Jane." Our ambassador Rion, it takes one person to be a bridge for change, and our ambassador Rion talks about his special person.
And he bought me my first pair of touch boots, which I still remember, and it was pretty awesome, because I was like, is this guy trying to like scam me or trick me like the other people in my past? But he was actually just trying to make me understand that playing touch rugby and playing rugby league and doing physical activity is the bridge towards change, and yeah, it really brought the real Rion out. And it was kind of strange for me because like alcohol and drugs made me feel good falsely, but playing touch and playing cricket and all these fun sports brought out like a natural high and like a real true feeling of belonging in a team, and maybe I'm okay at the sport or maybe I'm not, but if I work as a team then we can achieve stuff, and that was kind of the whole changing of my life really.
The second element is early and long-term intervention. All our tamariki start between the ages of 8 and 12, and we provide 5 years of continuous support. The third element is relationships. It's all about connection, and those positive connections start with our sports mentors and the Hawa Matahaki whānau. As each child then progresses into community sport, they build those positive connections with their sports coaches, teammates, and teammates whānau. This creates a vital sense of belonging, which is crucial in changing a young life. Lastly, it takes a village, and Te Puata Whare is a great example of a community partnership in action, creating lasting change for our tamariki, whānau, and the wider community. Our growing wait list demonstrates that the need is real, but our ability to respond is limited by funding. But what is the long-term cost for our young people, our communities, and our country if we don't respond to this need? I would like to finish by sharing the most important voice of our mahi, and this is Summer.
What is your favourite thing about sports?
Getting to meet other people and getting good exercise.
What has sport taught you?
Sports taught me to keep practicing and practicing. Then you'll get real better and better. Be like a world champion.
Cool. How do you feel when you play sport?
At first I'm a bit nervous, but then I get confident.
Describe sport in 3 words.
Exciting, fun, and healthy.
Ngā mihi nui, kia koutou. Thank you.
And I think if you don't have a tear in your eye after that last video, something's wrong. Just want to reiterate just what we've heard this morning in terms of just the power of physical activity and what it can achieve for our young people. So I'd just like you to join me in thanking all our finalists for sharing their amazing mahi with us today. Thank you, guys. And there is no time for questions right now, but as I said, they will be around for the next sort of few hours, so please come and talk to them. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen. Thank you also to you and Junior for facilitating that last 45 minutes emotional and inspirational session. So thank you to Liana, Dave, Jennifer, Kat, Flo, Sandy for the work that you are doing within, with your organisations within our communities and making a massive difference. So once more, can we please put our hands together for these wonderful organisations and individuals.